welcome everyone again. Today we're going to be doing a Triton and Genetec webinar conversation, kind of fireside chat-esque. Today we have Christian from Genetec. Christian, thank you so much for joining. You see on the slide as
Yeah.
well, we were supposed to have Gary. Unfortunately, he's not able to make it,
Yes.
but we do miss
Unfortunately.
him. We'll have him here next time.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So also diving into a little bit about Triton, if you're not familiar with us, if you're coming from the Genetec side, my name is Jack Carissi. I'm one of the co-founders of Triton Sensors. I'm joined by Jamie Lopez.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Lopez. Like Jack said, I'm a director of sales here at Triton and excited about this.
Yeah. So a little bit of background about Triton. We got our start. This is going to be a stark contrast from Genetec's starting point, but we got our start in 2020. So we're a younger company. It was founded by myself and Lance and Garrison Parthmore. Long story short, we were high school classmates, all part of our STEM club. We were, participating in this project to solve an issue in your community. And one thing that we were really seeing and that was starting to rise was vaping and drug use around our school campus, in restrooms, and pretty much in areas where you cannot monitor. So we wanted to try to tackle that problem, and we ended up building one of the first prototypes of Triton. COVID came around. We had some more free time on our hands to really kind of take the company seriously, come out with an official product. And now we've branched off more into security overall. And the motto of our company is to try to secure private areas without invading on personal privacy.
Nice. You guys are the OG narcs.
Oh, gee, yeah. The last year of high school and the first couple of years of college were tough. People say, "Oh,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
are you going?" It's not the mode.
Right.
That was kind of a common thing for everyone to do. It's not the easiest way
No, of
to
course.
start a
Yeah.
conversation.
Okay. So, and just on my side, so my name is Christian. Most people just call me CCL because my last name is French and difficult to pronounce. And I'm not even going to try in English. And I'm director of product at Genetec for what we call unified operations, and work closely with Triton on the integration and the go-to-market. And Gary, who couldn't be there, is our product manager that's on our IoT plugin, which is the module of Security Center that Triton integrates to. And Genetec's been in the physical security space for 30 years, so a little bit longer. We started with doing video management solutions, then moved on to do more inside of physical security, so access control, license plate recognition, intrusion solutions, all that, and brought all this together into one unified platform that we call Security Center. And we really made our mark with that unified approach and narrative. And now we are a world leader in that market. So especially for the video part, we're actually the number one video management system globally. So we're very proud. And I've been at Genetec for 10 years, so it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, that's great. And also just from an outsider's perspective on us, everyone in the security industry is obviously very welcoming and, supporting younger professionals taking up this career path, but working with Genetec, especially the culture there, CCL, for example, the rest of his colleagues, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with them over the past couple of years. So it makes me really excited that we're able to have this conversation today.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into it. I'm gonna stop sharing right now, so we kind of get more into a traditional, just conversational style, and we're gonna start with what customers are actually telling us. So this is gonna be more about the pain points and the blind spots that common customers between Genetec and between Triton, what they see. Jamie, I want to hear your perspective a little bit on kind of the pain points.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually used to be, if you have been on any calls with me, you have heard me say this because I talk about it all the time, but I actually used to be a high school biology teacher for 5 years. So I was in the classroom, and obviously we serve a lot of education clients. So I love talking to them every day. It makes me feel like I'm still, doing some good with them and but not being in the classroom anymore. And the number one thing, and I still remember it, even, when I was teaching, every single day we would get it would always be like a please identify this student subject line, and you would click in it, and the teachers would have like some sort of game, of like who can identify the kid the fastest
Mm,
between each other.
that's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
So yeah, we would always get, a certain incident happened around this time, around this area. And so schools are spending their time essentially like searching camera footage, trying to figure out who might be involved, and then sending it out to teachers to be like, who is this person? And then,
Uh,
finding them, tracking them down, that type of thing. And a lot of those times, incidents were happening inside bathrooms, believe it or not.
hmm
Yes.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
exactly. And
sure.
smart security solutions as a whole, whether it was like the introduction of security cameras or more recently like environmental sensors, it's really been trying to augment like the or expand the bandwidth of physical labor. So, obviously security guards and they can be in only so many places at once. So it starts with security
Yeah.
cameras. Now we can monitor more public spaces. But then there was kind of a
Yeah.
gap in the past 10 years of, okay, but what about the private spaces where we still need to make sure that we're respecting the privacy of people, but how can we get some awareness and some insights into those areas? Christian, what have you seen with, obviously you guys are huge, more working with visual systems over the past,
Yeah.
what's been the transition over the past 5 years?
Well, I think you tell well, like people have been started putting cameras to replace the guards and things like that. And
Yep.
then they came up against these barriers, I'll say, like of like, no, we can't put a camera here, right? Like I can't put in, like
Yep.
Jamie said, in the bathroom. You're not going to do that. That's like invading on privacy, and that's not just in schools, right? Like that could be in a retail space, in a corporate like building environment or whatever. But there's also other places like that where cameras can go or can't see, and so you have this limitation, and then it becomes a question. Okay, well, how can we expand beyond that barrier and bring that into the security system so that we can know what's happening using other senses, right? Not just your visual sense, but
Yep.
some other sense to get a sort of understanding of what's happening in there without infringing on the privacy of people. So tons of things came out, right? Like, oh, we can use video analytic, but we're not recording the video. Well, that's kind of iffy, right? Or
Yeah.
uh, we are we are using lidars. Like lidars don't. It's infrared, so there's no private information. Like we can't see the face of the people. But then, yeah, air quality sensors or just presence sensors or things of that nature to understand what's happening in the environment without having eyes on it has been growing significantly over the past few years. And like I said, it's not limited to just that, to just bathrooms, right? The the other thing I think is interesting too is sometimes video doesn't give you the full picture. And it's kind of odd to say that, right? Like it's like, well, you got video, you can see everything. But there's one key thing that is really important is that oftentimes they're not allowed to open up the audio of the video, right?
Yeah.
Like so, because that would be like wiretapping in a sense, right? Like you're listening
Oh,
on
interesting.
people's
Yeah.
conversations. Yeah, so like actually, because of wiretapping laws in a public area, you're typically not allowed to open up the mics of the cameras, so they're deactivated completely. And so that means that they don't have anything that has a sound, they can't hear it. And then, there might be other things like, so like if something happens, like, I don't know, like a gunshot or somebody screaming or something like that, now you're not hearing this. And now you're seeing, let's say, crowd movement or something of that nature, but you don't understand why, right? Like as an operator sitting in front of the screen, you're seeing this, but like, why is this happening? And the why is super important. Like, okay, I've got a bunch of people fleeing. That means there's something happening. I need to do something about it, but I don't know what they're fleeing. So how can I respond to this if I don't know what's happening? So this is like, okay, I've got eyes on it, but I'm missing the other senses to be able to
Yeah.
really understand what's happening. And
That
like
that's
same thing with detecting gases, right? Like gases, there's a lot of gases you can't see. So like, oh, maybe people are smelling something, but you don't have that sense of smell in the in the SOC, right, in the operation room. So it's all these other senses that we typically use if you're a security guard walking around that you don't have access to through the video.
Yeah, I really like that. I'm definitely going to steal that analogy. Is that you're missing out on senses and having having your eyes, we're just missing like taste, I think is the next part of maybe that's
I
the
don't
next
think,
thing that we're going to develop at Triton is
yeah, I
adding
don't think
that,
I want to
Right.
taste
future spec.
what's going on.
Yeah, but I really like that. And then I also like the point that you're saying of So all of these solutions that are coming out, one, it's really nice to give people and to give resource officers more information, but sometimes that can be
Yeah.
overwhelming in itself.
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
have
Yes.
a couple different systems to monitor, um, to have a couple of different systems to monitor, or like you said, you see all these people running through and on the camera, okay, that's great, but actually, how is an operator? I'm the person who's supposed to respond. I don't necessarily
Yeah.
have the full picture, so how do I know what to do and how do I follow up with that? So I think
Yeah.
that's also something that's really important that really speaks for why we need to tie in these solutions together. Because that speaks perfectly,
I
like you
agree.
said. So say about a gas leak in a certain area, and then you see people running through the hallway. So that's where it's perfect where
Yeah.
you can have maybe our sensor or any other peripheral that you would have in the area that can tie into security center, for example, and generate an alarm and say carbon monoxide is in the room, carbon monoxide has been detected. And then you can bookmark that
Yeah.
footage and it gives the security guard kind of the whole picture. Okay, now this is why people are leaving this wing, and they can respond appropriately.
Yeah. I think when this started, like, okay, let's put these sensors in at first, right? Like people are, oh, let's put these sensors in to extend, like our senses in those regions. And then they have it like as a siloed thing,
Yeah,
which is good. It's already better than having nothing, right? But then you have this what we call the chair pivot problem, right? Where okay, now I'm looking at this and I'm looking at this, and oftentimes they have multiple screens, but it remains that you let the human do the correlation between the two systems, right? It's the
yes,
human that has to correlate, okay, this is happening on that sensor over there, and maybe it's mapped on a floor plan, maybe it's not.
yeah,
And then, okay, what are my other sensors, like my cameras or doors or things like that, that I have in my security system that are correlated with that sensor in space, right? Like,
yes,
where are they around the same space? And now you have to do this in your head. So a very experienced operator will do this like this, right? Like somebody that's been there for a few years in the operations room, they will know this by heart, not a problem. They can call up a camera by number, like they know this
sure.
stuff. But there's the new person that comes in, or somebody that's maybe less familiar. That will take them a lot of time to get to that level of experience. And on top of it, there's a lot of churn in these types of environments. Like people
Yeah.
don't stay in a security operations center very long because it's very stressful. So you have to continuously, train your people. So bringing these things in together, I think, is really where like you reduce the cognitive load on your operators, and
Yes.
you reduce also the time from when they come in to when they can actually deliver on like the what you want for your security. So I totally agree that bringing these things together, not that it's necessary, but it does bring a lot of value.
Yeah, it's so intuitive. Like what I don't think you can make an argument against the fact of monitoring one system or having one alerting platform that the operator is going to be paying attention to is better than having three or four. And it
Yeah,
starts like even imagine if all of your cameras were separate, like too, like that would be impossible in itself. So then when you add all of these other peripherals, I think it's necessary. Um,
you'd be surprised. There are people that still have separate camera systems for different. Yeah, that
yeah,
still exists. It's crazy, but it exists.
but the other thing is too that I always have to remember is that, someone that's had maybe a legacy system or something too, it's so much easier for me to just sit on a call from my outside perspective and I'm not in the day-to-day operations of the person who has been
Yeah.
there for 15 years and knows exactly how to run the system. And they're
Hmm.
like, I don't want to change anything out right now. So that's also too why we try to support with not only providing the solution, but what processes can we help implement to make this transition be as
Yeah,
easy as possible. And
absolutely.
that's probably a good segue into setting up the integration
But
itself.
before
Oh, please, yeah,
before
go
you do
ahead.
that, can I add something? Because I think there's another part of this. Like we've talked about the visual aspects and like the cognitive load of the operator, but I think there's just something else that bring these things together also adds is the ability to automate things, right? So when you have the data sets from those two different systems brought together, now you're able to do things like, okay, if this happens here and this happens here, then I want something to happen, right? Like so let's say there's a sound detection by an IoT sensor, and it's also correlated with I'll say like a video analytic that detects maybe a gun, right?
Yes.
So you bring these two together, now you have a high level of confidence that you have something there where like each on their own might not be enough to trigger like an alarm. Maybe my example is not great for that, but like let's say you detect a crowd movement on an analytic and a high level of noise. Okay, so like these two things separate might not be super important, but when you bring them together, you're like, okay, wait, there's something really bad potentially happening here. And so it's not just the front end, right? It's also the back end. Like bringing the back end together, I think is also very.
Yeah, and just to add one more thing to that as well. Sorry to bring it back to the education world, but I love that world. And in day-to-day operations, a lot of times like principals or SROs or whoever are getting, alerts for things going on inside the bathroom for something much simpler like vaping or THC use or something.
Sure.
It's something that they are not able to, get up and run and respond to right there in the moment. But then when we have these systems together, we can like bookmark and flag that footage prior to the event within Security Center and see, who's going into the space prior to the alarm going off. So then when they do have the time, they can, pull those students to have conversations.
That's a really good point, because sometimes when I do think about, I always think of like these huge operating rooms where they have the dedicated operators who are monitoring. But yeah, like when you're in a situation like that where you just don't have the labor, you don't have someone filling that position, but they have a video management system, they have these IoT devices, but they need to look after the fact. They can't just get up and stop in the middle of what they're doing. And that goes back to your point, CCL, about this automation. It can bookmark for you right away, have recording 30 seconds prior to the event, 30 seconds after the event, send an email out for you to look at it at the end of the week.
Right. Yeah.
Really powerful. It's really powerful.
Yep. Yep. Good point. Yep.
Yeah. And okay,
so you wanted to get into how it works, right?
Exactly. Yes. So yeah, that was going back to my point about the setup process, and someone who may be getting their hands on an IoT device, Triton specifically, for the first time, and talk about. So for us, when we first started, gaining some traction and getting a lot of customers, it was one of the first questions that we would get is, can you integrate with XYZ? Genetec was obviously a very popular partner to integrate with, but we had other ones. And that wasn't something that we were necessarily familiar with. That is in the security world, or your security solutions. It's almost like table stakes now that, okay, we have to have some baseline integration, combining all of our systems together, or have the availability. So we built out, the basic protocols that, are pretty much standard across the industry, which are HTTP, TCP, and MQTT. The one thing that I want to highlight about Genetec is obviously, we have the guides that go into the specifics using IoT plugin, et cetera. But it's actually the ease of digesting the data itself. It's not just state changes. So when we're integrating into Genetec, all of the data, and this goes for a lot of the things that you can integrate into Security Center, that all of the data that you would see on the standalone platform, you also have a place to view it within Genetec. So for Triton, it's going to be those air quality metrics. It's going to be the sound level. You get to see some good time series graphs about that. And that's really one thing that I think makes the Genetec and Triton integration stand out.
Also, in terms of protocol, you guys also implemented OnVIF, didn't you?
Yes,
for like the video?
Correct. Yeah. So OnVIF is another way to enroll the RTSP stream, but you can also enroll it through through a camera stream as well.
Sure. But that's kind of interesting too, because like for let's say somebody that's not using Genetec, right? And they just want to be able to bring the sensor information as a video stream, which is something you guys do. I think that's also really cool. It's a very like that's going to be compatible with every VMS, like every video management platform.
Right. Yeah. We built the RTSP stream in mind of it's the natural protocol for camera stream, or most camera streams coming through. So obviously we're not showing any visuals, but we have our dashboard coming through that way. And I think actually this is probably a good time to show off one of these analytics or one of these videos that we have.
Yeah. I think that's good.
I want to pull up our one here. Sorry, 1 second.
No worries.
All right. Can you see this all right?
Yep.
Pairing cameras. Okay, so this is actually what it's going to look like. So as I was speaking to, this is our interface. So this is all within Security Center, which is amazing because you're seeing our interface on the right here has a web page. You can see all of the live data coming through. Even if you didn't have this web page pulled up, Genetec has their own graphs that they're generating here, and it makes everything so simple. We also have our dashboard here. This view has the floor plan where the icons are going to change, an alarm count. So I'm going to let this play out. CCL or Jamie, please add any commentary that you would like.
Well,
And this
No,
is
as you're
after an
playing
event.
that,
yeah.
there's
So
a
you're
question in here about is
oh,
there any noticeable capability differences between using TCP, MQTT, or with the IoT?
Sorry, let me read the question.
no notable capability differences. No, I think we bring the
No.
same data whether you're
Yep.
in both protocols. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think honestly, and it's the same for HTTP as well and HTTPS.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Geo to address that the real difference is kind of what the end user prefers, and I would assume most comfortable working with. Whatever maybe is standard on their network because of cybersecurity standards, or just other TCP integrations that they're familiar with in the past that they can set up. But all of this information that you as the end user would see is the same across the three.
Yeah.
So this is actually too, then after an alarm goes off here, you'll see that this pops up a live view. So this is what we were talking about with those automated actions. So now imagine that you are that operator, you see an event. Now on your monitor on the right-hand side, it's going to pull up this screen with the most recent Triton data. You're going to see that we have someone loitering here. This is our RTSP stream and the associated camera feed. So now you can actually put a face to this icon here and see if it's something that you need to address.
Yeah, Jack, and this is fully within security desk, right? Like it doesn't rely on the cloud access for Triton.
Correct. Yes, no, that's correct. So you'll see here we have a smoking event coming through. This can be managed directly under security desk. So it's going to be an integration from our local interface, from the local IP address.
Direct to the sensor.
Yeah. And this is another powerful view. I think this is probably more common for like a static screen that you would see, is having an operator look at the map of all of their systems. Probably you would see some cameras in here as well. But then when you have one of these events, the icon is going to change. It's going to show you the alarm. You can go and address it, and it has some rules that are automated behind it.
Yeah, and we kind of put isometric there, but typically it's a floor plan, right? Like that's what most of our customers will use. And when you receive the alarm, you can show the floor plan too. So you can show like where it's happening, and then all your senses, right? I was talking about like your visual, your audio, or anything else from the Triton sensors all together. So it gives a full picture in one view.
Yes, and the thing that I think is also very powerful about this is how customized you can get. Like, so this is one example of someone who brought up these 4 views right here. I think it was actually David. I want to shout out David because he's been amazing with helping get that integration set up. But showing these views, but it can be anything. It can be sending out a notification. Maybe you don't want a live view. You just want some alert coming through. But the IIoT plugin is so powerful that you can really, whatever actions that you would like to perform within Genetec, we can be the condition that's going to trigger it.
Yeah.
And then can you also see, will this screen be available in the Genetec web app?
Yeah, not exactly as this. What you can get in the web app is you can see the alarm. You won't get the IoT data itself, but you'll get the stream from Triton. So you'll be able to see all the information, like the one that we see on the top right there, as well as like getting the alarm in the web app. So it's a bit more limited in what you can see, but you can still manage like an alarm coming from a Triton sensor from the web app.
And is that just the nature of it being in the browser and not having the full software?
Yeah, the web app is is more limited in its capabilities. So that's really good question.
Yeah, fair enough. And Christian asking as well, is there a guide to duplicate this type of layout in Genetec? Yes, there is. I think actually this is the exact layout that we have in our guide, and then we use as the example. So for this one specifically, yes, there is.
Nice.
Christian, I can send it to you after this.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna, of course, Christian. So, all right, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen again for a second. Maybe we'll jump back to a video there in a couple of minutes. So talking about this in action, so maybe we can highlight a couple of use cases that we've had. Um,
Hmm.
let's start with retail, maybe
Okay.
loitering situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
Sure.
saying in like a mall or a quick service restaurant or something like that. So the workflow that this is going to look like in a real case scenario is that maybe you have someone in the restroom that is loitering, has been there for an extended period of time, or they're loitering because it was some medical event, or
Yeah.
they passed out or something like that. So the workflow is that Triton is going to send you is going to detect this event. They're going to see that whatever your loitering threshold is, maybe it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it's going to be, that this person has been in the room for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, now we're going to start our
Hmm.
workflow, and that's going to go to Genetec. Christian, what do you think would be like in retail? What have you seen kind of their call to action?
Well, it depends, but let's say like in a quick in a fast food chain, right? I've seen this
Yeah,
where they have this problem of people using the bathrooms to do things that shouldn't be doing,
yeah,
and they want to detect that type of loitering, and obviously they can't put cameras there. So the bigger problem that they have is that that often it's the store person like that's working there that needs to go and like try to unlock the door and see, and that can become a confrontation pretty quickly, right? And so
yeah,
they
for
don't want
sure.
to put their employees in danger like that. So typically it ends up being a 911 call. And it's, or if they have local security guards, which fast food places don't typically do, but like larger retail stores do, then
Sure.
they'll dispatch a security guard. But yeah, typically, yeah, it's a 911 call. They get an officer there as quickly as possible to check that because of the potential for confrontation and violence, or even to find something you don't want to find, right? And so, like an employee, if they can see something that might be traumatic for them, police officers are better trained to handle these types of situations. So that's typically what we see is yeah, they call up the police or EMS.
Yeah, and that actually goes back. That's probably similar to a smaller education environment, where again, it's maybe not it's just someone who doesn't have the time. I guess it's a little bit different because you're talking about maybe the situation that they're going to end up in. Could be confrontational or turn violent or something like that. But it's
Mm-hmm.
along the same lines of that person who's right there can't address it in the moment. So how do we get this back to our security officers, someone who's monitoring it, and then they can make the call to action from there, whether it's going to be reviewing it at some time later, or it's going to be having police officers come. And that's really where the power of the automation and having it go to a centralized platform where someone is going to be monitoring it and can get the right
Yeah.
resources there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I've even
Yeah, and
heard,
it can be central too.
Yeah.
yeah, I've
Sorry,
heard
go ahead, Jimmy.
some clients as well, like in a retail environment where, their employees are trying to like close up for the night and people are hiding out in the bathroom trying to like do those like viral challenges, spend the night at whatever store.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's so many that we could probably sit here all day and come up with different use cases for like crazy thing, whether it
Mm-hmm.
goes from like a TikTok challenge, it goes across the end of the extreme, like a TikTok
Yeah.
challenge, or you have someone in a real medical emergency.
Yeah.
Like it covers
Yeah.
the whole board.
Yeah, we do have a question about that too, about like how the sensor could detect something like an overdose. And
Yes.
go ahead.
So something like an overdose is actually, Dave. So what we're talking about there more is the lack of movement. So it's going to be someone that is in the area for an extended period of time. So you can set up different events on the device to say, okay, if someone is in this room, using the restroom for an example, if someone's in the restroom for more than 30 minutes and they're not moving, more than likely, and a medical emergency is going on, or whatever the end user is comfortable with setting that threshold where they want to intervene. That's really, it's going to be more general than identifying that someone has overdosed in the moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to back it up too far, but we did have one question from the difference in setup between old integration that used the IoT plugin before and then this new integration that we were talking about. They,
It's the same one.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's,
same one.
yeah, it just evolved. It evolved over time, but it's the same integration. Where we have like with Triton, we have a template that you can load. So it's super easy to put into the IoT plugin. And then you can pull in the RTSP stream from the device for the sensor information. And then the web page is just, that's more of a manual thing that you need to set up as a, what we call a web tile, that you can add to your dashboard. But all of this has been available. It's just that we've made it evolve a little bit over the time as to what you can bring in and how you can display this information.
Yeah. This is really, I would say that like what we were showing off there is using it to its full capabilities. Honestly, like that is like that's getting the best information that you can get from all sources at once. Which is probably useful for us to do another session, or maybe we can make a video actually, and post it on YouTube or something about, the different applications that you can have. Okay, another real world case that I want to talk about, Jamie, I'm gonna get your I don't think that's for us. I don't think that chat is for us.
It was like AI telling us something.
So Jamie, I do want to pass it to you and talk about the keyword detection.
Absolutely.
And how this works.
Absolutely. Again, so sorry, but we're going back to education.
Not sorry. That's one of the most important areas to ensure that we have good security.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This honestly can go around different verticals, but I just love talking about education. So, this actually happened at my school. When I think about the keyword detection in those private spaces, I think about like medical events, like we've been talking about. At my school, a student vaped in the bathroom, something innocent, if you will, not thinking that it would turn into a medical event, but that's exactly what happened. They were not found until class was changing, and which was like 10, 15 minutes later, and they had passed out in the bathroom. So EMS had to come out to the school, lock down that specific building to get the student out and taken care of. So my brain automatically goes to those types of things where students can say, help me, emergency, stop it if there's any like uncomfortable type of situation happening where they would like help to intervene. So just knowing again what's going on in those spaces where we have never had insight into before.
Yes. And one thing I do want to highlight there is around, we were talking about audio before. So I think a natural question though is someone saying, okay, so we covered earlier that in some places you cannot have the audio turned on. So that's also the same for us. I phrased that poorly, but we do have the microphones enabled, but again, it's not that recording. So we do real-time analysis. It's on the edge. It's on the IoT device itself. It doesn't leave the platform at all. I always give the analogy. It's like it's in one ear, out the other of the device, and it's not being sent anywhere.
Yeah, there's no.
So I do just like to. So I do just like to highlight that, as well as the custom keywords. So again, I know we're talking about an education environment right now, but it could also be the same for. It could also be the same in a healthcare environment, or if you just define something like code blue, things that can be common in a healthcare environment where a nurse may need help in a patient room or something like that. But again, I don't want to get too off track from the K through 12 example that we were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is a great example when we are able to customize the keywords. Code blue could alert one specific group, whether that is like a security group, or there's a medical emergency, it's code orange, and that alerts, the nurse or whatever. It's fully, the sky's the limit when it comes to that.
And I like that there's a difference there between, I feel like most of the applications are your monitor, like most security solutions is you're monitoring, I'm going to say the customer of that facility, the customer of who would be our end user. Right. So if it's in a quick service restaurant or something like that, normally we're monitoring the customers who visit that store. But in the healthcare environment, you're actually monitoring the staff and you're helping protect the staff who are in that environment. So it works both ways. So I think that's interesting as well, is that you can really expand the use cases.
We are getting several questions, so I am just gonna tell everybody that we're gonna save them because I think we're almost done here and we can save them for the live Q&A if that works.
Yeah, that works.
We'll say we'll save these ones. To go through these. Sorry, did you say you want to jump to the Q&A now?
No. Let's
no,
save.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of questions.
They're starting to like pour in, so I'm like,
we'll save the. Okay, I got you. Sorry, I got confused. I was like, wait, we have a couple more points.
Sorry.
So, okay, so I want to talk about now a little bit about the cloud. in the bigger picture. That's obviously at Genetec. I know that you guys are focusing a little bit more on Security Center SaaS, as well as obviously for Triton Cloud for us is a big part of our solution. Mostly though, you're really going to get the best use case out of that in large deployments, at least from the Triton side. So that really helps with management across maybe different physical sites where the networks are not connected, and things like that. So again, if you have, as well as the configuration. So we've been talking about the integration, tying it in for these systems. Doing it on-prem, it's going to have to be device by device, compared to the cloud, where we can integrate it at a account level. So it's going to be all of your devices in one. It's going to do that automatically for you, and that can just really that can really ease some of the configuration process. As well as you hinted at this earlier, Christian, but with our on-VIF compatibility to Security Center SaaS, which will I'm really excited about that. So yeah, I want to pass it to you about things to come.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like what you said. Same thing on our side, right? Like Security Center SaaS, it's not necessarily like where we focus, but it's a new product. So obviously, we put a lot of attention on it from a marketing perspective. And it's where we innovate, where we build the new stuff, because it's easier to build in the cloud and deliver in the cloud, but then we're bringing back these innovations to our on-prem system as well. But yeah, this integration to SaaS is going to be key to be able to get that SaaS to SaaS integration. And I think, as you said, like the multi-site type of environment is where we shine as well for Security Center SaaS, because it's much easier to manage when you have multi-sites, to manage that all centrally through the cloud and have that connection on the cloud level instead of having it at the device level. But it depends on your use case, right? Like sometimes people like to have that device level integration locally to be able to actionate some things there, right? So it really depends on how you want to do this. But so I think, that's a big thing. The other big thing for us is more advanced automation rules that can help you build better logic using that data and using other data that you have in the system to, basically do things automatically, but also bring the attention of operators at the right place at the right time. So that's a big thing. And the last thing I'll say, I think that's going to be super interesting with this is we are building a new way to sort of configure your system, like to represent your physical space a little bit better. And I think bringing the IoT information as well as your visual information, all that inside of a more something that's closer to your physical reality will be really interesting to build better situational awareness, accelerate responses and things like that. So those are things coming up that I think will be super interesting as we evolve that integration with Triton.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. And another thing that you mentioned there that I like, this is really around all software that is cloud-based, that I think we're all used to, is around, from our perspective as Triton and as Genetec, the innovation is much quicker. And I think that's something that a lot of the rest of the world and security or physical security systems, probably they take a little bit more, or we need to have a little bit more caution as we step through those things. But I feel like the industry as a whole is starting to lean in towards, you have more resources on the cloud. You're not necessarily focusing on the hardware that's sitting on someone's site. You can spin up more resources in the cloud. But again, it's like you said, it's really up to what people want and where they want to have their resources stored.
Yep. Yeah, we want to offer the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we want to jump into these questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So I'm scrolling back. I think the first one we have is from,
I think it's Christian.
Christian. So can Triton sensors detect certain specific audio patterns, such as gunshots, screams, requesting help out loud, glass break, etc.? So yes, we can. And we do have documentation around that, around what sounds that we support. So like dog bark, for example, I know that you included that in your question. We do not. But there are certain classification items that we do support, such as glass break, requesting help out loud is going to be a part of our keyword detection, etc. Second part, can Triton sensors be integrated with third-party audio intercom and PA systems? Yes, we can. So we support, as we were talking about, those HTTP, TCP, and MQTT protocols that we support. That normally is open for all third parties, as long as the third party is accepting that traffic and has the infrastructure to do so. So Zenatel, you highlighted, for example, yes, we can.
And maybe something to note, like we also have this integration with Zentel, and you can easily see some integrations, automations where, let's say, a sensor information such as like a gas leak information, like alert that comes in from the Triton device, we could bring into that in Security Center and then trigger a speaker system or intercom system to tell people to evacuate or something like that, right? So we have those capabilities also
Yes.
within the platform to integrate these things to the platform, right?
And also for the PA systems, one thing about Security Center is the SIB protocol, which is
Yes,
also
the protocol.
for talk-down. So that's very useful as
Yeah.
well, because maybe it's not an automated message. Maybe it's, someone needs to be in Security Center and say a message, or for a door, for access
Right.
control or something like that. So yeah, that's a great point.
I can imagine that with the vape in the bathroom, like just the principal coming on the PA and it's like, you in the bathroom.
Get the hell out of here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, how can they see me?
I always tell like school customers that I'm like, you could have your big scary coach, record a pre-canned message that says like,
Right.
vaping, get out or something, and they would freak out.
For sure. Nice.
And next question I see, Ryan, thank you for addressing that one above, from Saeed,
Yeah.
I believe. So I saw ChatGPT.
Yeah, I can take that one.
Yeah, in physical security.
Yeah, so
booth.
I think what Said's talking about is our natural language search that we have in Security Center Task today, which can help you basically search for specific keywords and search the video using specific keywords. Well, not even specific keywords now, like you can search for anything. And so this today is really tied to video only. But in the future, it's going to be a unified search, meaning that you'll be able to search through video, through access control data, intrusion data, and IoT data. So we're not there yet, but yes, in the future, you'll be like something like, I don't know, like tell me the last time my IoT, not even having to say that. You could say, tell me the last time we had a gas leak, right? And then the system could bring that up and show you the video associated with that area as well at the same time. So that's where we want to get. We're not there yet, though.
I think I got to see a demo of that. I think at the end user summit from Andre.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's so natural, like for how everyone uses. It's so natural, like for everyone that uses any large language model today. That's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
Next question from Shadza. Can you disable wireless and Bluetooth capability? Yes, you can. So we support, I'm assuming you're only talking about the Triton devices here. So we do offer a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip on board to set up a Wi-Fi connection if you have a hard physical powering, but those can be disabled.
I'm not sure we want to answer Kim's question on this call.
Yeah.
Well, that's hard too, because it's really dependent on where you're at geographically.
Well, it says Manitoba, but
she
still,
said,
I think
Jamie, she already said it. So
okay, well, I don't know there. I'm just saying.
Kim, we'll take that one offline.
I think it's better to take that one offline.
Yeah. We do have another one in the Q&A that is open that says, can we customize the GUI dashboard?
Yeah, of course. So like the graphical user interface is customizable in the Genetec system. And especially what Jack was showing, like the dashboard that we have where you can put any component from security desk and like size it the way you want, overlap them if you want, all this, and then really customize that view. And you can build multiple of those views that can be saved and brought back anytime you want. And they can be private or public to all your users. Definitely you can customize all that.
Yeah, that's one of the standout features for an integration into Security Center, for sure. Is that you can fully customizable. I think it's awesome. It's really awesome.
Well, sometimes it's also the bane of our existence because people do crazy things with that. But but we like to give our customers the ability to choose how they want to do things.
Fair enough.
I think that's the end of it.
I think that is.
Wow. Hey, we're like 15 minutes, well, 45 minutes since we started. This has been a really good discussion.
This
Really
is
enjoyed
great.
it.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
great, Edwin. We can share the trading background with you. But I do want to wrap it up here. I just want to I'm going to share this for the last couple of minutes that we have. Um, CCL, thank you so much for your time. This was awesome. As I said,
My
we
pleasure.
absolutely love working with you and the rest of the team at Genetec. It's you guys are truly an amazing company, and what you've built is really admirable.
Uh, Same to you guys. It's
Thank
been
you.
a fun ride, and I hope we continue this for the next decade or more.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for attending today. On screen here, we have a QR code to book with Jamie, Kim. I think you're first in line for the QR code here for a one-on-one session, as well as some of my contact information, a general number, and a QR code to learn more about Genetec. They're really an amazing company, and yeah, again, can't speak highly enough about them. So thank you all for joining today. CCL, thank you. Gary, if you watch this recording in the
You.
future, we missed you, but you're going to be on the next one. Jamie, thank you. And yeah, that's it for today.